यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितप्रज्ञानगणप्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोऽहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। Let us begin Bhagavad Gita, verse number 9 of 8th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kavim Puranamanushasitaram Anoraniyam Samanusmaredyah Sarvasya Dhataramachintya Rupam Aditya Varunam Tamasah Parastat. Bhagavan Krishna is giving solid objects for Saguna Upasana. Let us have introduction for this session. The human destination is fixed by our Shastra. Though we are fixed so many destinations. So when we were born, our parents, they had their own idea about your future. When you grow, you impart so many knowledge but not knowing what is the real goal. Parents are insisting this can be the goal. As you grow, by the age, so by the circle of your friends or some teachers or society, you learn more, there are more destinations. When you come to know so many destinations to become a doctor, to become an engineer, to become an artist, to become an actor, to become a sports person. So like so many destinations you fix in your mind. All those destinations will produce a kind of attachment with that destination. That attachment will be generated in you. That attachments will lead your life, isn't it? Therefore I said, when you fix the destination, destination will pull you. The mind is locked with that destination. Now he cannot be free from that activity because mind is fixed. So he cannot come out. If at all he wants to come out, he has to work. Now before knowing the proper destination of the life, with so many destinations around, so many destinations that which have fixed, they are the life destination. This main destination disappears. If at all somebody says moksha is your destination, means you feel valueless. That destination is not at all the destination. That's what our conclusion in the beginning. If you have little bit punya, the Shastra all about the punya, the construction you constructed on called the spiritual life, on only punya alone. It keeps insisting punya, punya, punya. Punya means good deeds. We had lots of discussion on that. Now a person who has punya, so he could give the value of this moksha destination. There are three kinds of mokshas. Moksha means a liberation. Liberation of what? Liberation of our karma phala. Now moksha means, we said jivan mukti, krama mukti, videha mukti. Mukti means moksha, moksha means liberation, freedom. This jivan mukti means what? That is the ultimate goal of Vedanta. So before that, we come to know about Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti means once you give the body After that, you won't enter again into the womb. It is known as Videha Mukti, after death. Okay, and this Krama Mukti also, it is after death, but the process begins from now, while living itself. Especially this 8th chapter talks about Krama Mukti and Videha Mukti. This Krama Mukti means, so gradually after death you are taken to the different lokas. Finally you will reach Satya Loka, or called Brahma Loka. There you will be given the knowledge of Vedanta. You will be liberated from there, not from here. Now our question is, how do you know that after death we are going to travel? Only Shastra is Pramana. The Shastra is evident for that. If you have little bit more inquiry mind, the mind which is endowed with inquiry, you will definitely come to know. So even if logically you can think of. Now Shastra says the death takes place when the time comes that symbolizes the way the spirit goes away. You can define by that. If a person is departing to the mouth, through the mouth, then it means it's a normal death. He will be born again as a human being. But if he goes through this upastha payu, known as urinal tract or anus, then he will be born as a non-human being. And if you go through the nose, if you go through the ears, if you go through the eyes, so it is considered a little bit higher than this human body. You will be given celestial body. The celestial being means what? Deva Sharira. We will be provided Deva Sharira. From there we will enjoy the Sukha, then we will be sent back to this human body. But once you go through Brahmarandhram, that is known as Jiva Samadhi. That Jiva Samadhi word are wrongly used by the people. But this person, one who goes through ears, eyes, so it has to be noticed. He will reach to the next lokas, and those person will get Krama Mukti. Krama Mukti means so after death he will go to next loka towards up, and he will cross 5-6 lokas. Finally he will reach Brahma Loka. From there he will be informed Vedanta. He will be provided the knowledge of Vedanta. From there he will be liberated. So these are all after death. So now after death, nobody says where you are going to go, because science says that. So after death everything is finishes. There can be the continuation. That continuation later on he will give definitely. But here he talks about Krama Mukti. Jivan Mukti means here itself you will be liberated. You need not to travel even the 7 lokas towards up. Here, now itself, here now means at present you can get liberated. That's what the remaining chapters, which begin from the 7th chapter, it will continue from the 9th chapter. Now for the time being, Bhagavan Krishna has kept aside. Now he is discussing Krama Mukti Upayaha. Krama Mukti Upaya means the techniques for Krama Mukti, because we are not attracted to the ultimate liberation called Moksha, Jivan Mukti, so we feel useless. But we feel so many enjoyments has to be there in our life, because life is eye-catching. I have to reach this power and that power, but here the person who is talked about, he is endowed with Saguna Upasana, but with Nishkama attitude. Now Krama Mukti means a person who makes effort. He has to have the different attitude. Upasana balena. Upasana means, as I told you in the last session, it's a manasika vyapara, completely mental transaction. Karma yoga means the transaction with the world, but here transaction only with the God. You can gain whatever you want. Even you want to have materialistic enjoyments, you can get. That's what introduced in the beginning itself. But if you are still sticking with the worldly materials, you will be born again with those materials which you sought after. Definitely you will be born with that. Therefore, any desire you have, you dig with that desire with the help of Ishvara Anugraham. Definitely you will be provided in this life itself or hereafter. In the next life you will get. But it depends upon your practice, how seriously you practice. Now, if you are fortunate enough, you will select the best goal, because this Kamya Prarthana means Kamya Sadhana Upasana or Nishkamya Upasana or Nishkama Upasana. So it differs according to the goal. If you fix worldly materials as the goal, it is known as Kamya Upasana. If you fix the moksha as the goal, or Lord Himself as the goal, it is known as Nishkama Upasana. Nishkama Upasana means the sadhana, the upasana, the meditation without selfishness. Now, the person who does meditation, who performs meditation without a desire, without the selfishness, that person here explained what kind of objects for the meditation can be selected. So the first object is Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. Ishvara is the object to be selected for this kind of upasana. Not selecting worldly materials as meditative object. Here one should select Ishvara Himself as an object for meditation. Therefore, so the attributes of Ishvara is given, but it is given for Nishkama Upasakaha, the person who is performing upasana with selfishness. I keep repeating this, Upasaka should have selflessness. Then alone this meditation will be useful and he can go further. Kavim means self-effulgent, Kranta Darshinam Sarvajnam. So now meditating on Ishvara, Ishvara is the all-knower, omniscient. So He knows everything. He knows past, present, future. So He knows every single moment what is going on the earth, what is going on beyond the earth. Now, when you meditate, you are increasing your level of understanding, because every creature has the power to know, power to understand, power to think. All those things are nothing but Ishvara. Now, slowly you will develop the understanding of the Sarvajñatvam. Then you will be reduced, or you will remove all kinds of anxieties, worries, fear, apprehensive, everything you will remove from you. Because usually we think, so I think about myself for my future, and somebody else will also think about your future. Your friend may think positively about your future. Your parents may consider about your future. Your spouse can think about your future. These people are thinking positively, but your enemy will think wrongly or negatively about your future, isn't it? So now your mind always thinks about future with anxiety. What will happen to me? I have to be like this. I have to get this much progress in my life. This thinking about future, it has involved or includes so many anxiety factors in it. Once you come to know that everything is nothing but Ishvara, all minds, all knowledge, the mind which understands the knowledge. See, now your mind understands the knowledge and your mind gets the thought about future, the other's mind also will think about you. All minds are Ishvaras alone. All understandings are nothing but Ishvaras alone. So now you need not worry, because Ishvara, when you dig with his thoughts, then he won't do harmful to you. You become fearless. You become peaceful and contented person. Kavim means thinking Ishvara as Kavihi, Sarvajnaha, almighty, omniscient. That is the benefit. You can meditate as the Kavi, then Puranam. The second is given attribute is Puranam means he is ancient but ageless person. He is the ancient one means what? He is there before creation. He continues to be there in the creation as unaffected by the creation. Now he is a subject which remains as ever fresh. Puranam means Sanatanam Puranam. When you meditate these things, so you will come to know the secret of the object, because you will gain the capacity to know about past and present and future. You will become like a Sarvajnaha, means a Sarvashaktiman, Anushasitaram, the ruler of the creation. Now meditating Ishvara as the ruler of creation means what? So you are meditating the Ishvara as the power of ruling power of the entire universe. It means you will also gain the power. This, thinking is, sometimes you may have the questions, is it possible? Because Ishvara is completely unknown. How can I meditate like this? Just take help from the Upanishad or the shloka. Say, Kavim Ishvaraha, Purana Ishvaraha, Anushasitaram, Anushasita Ishvaraha. So the ruler of everything. Therefore, we need not worry about the ruler. The ruler may be good or bad. You need not worry, because you are connected with the proper, the real ruler. He will rule the country. He will rule your destiny. He will rule your future. Therefore, you becomes fearless, means worryless person. Then Anoraniyan. This is meditating Ishvara as a subtlest one, subtlest to even atom. So that you need to be taught by a guru how to think, how to meditate on this concept. He is the subtler than subtlest means beyond our perception. Beyond our perception means what? Not only to your perceptions, even all animals, because animals, they do have more powerful organs than us, isn't it? A dog can smell better than human being. A cat can listen better than a human being. Even this elephant has got more power, memory power than a human being. So they have more powerful sense organs. So they can also not see the Ishvara, because he is subtler than subtlest. Subtler than subtlest means what? He exists in every atom as the subtler atom than the atom. It means Ishvara exists in your every tissues, every cells, because he is subtlest. Nobody can divide him, because atom is broken into three. Atom becomes proton, neutron, electron. Then if you break them, it becomes particles. Particle cannot be broken, because if you divide a particle into two, there are two complete particles. This is what the science development is. Marvelous. But this power, which is known as Almighty Ishvara, he is more subtler than subtlest, and he is everywhere. Then Sarvasya Dhataram, who is the sustainer of the creation. The entire creation is sustained by him. The sustentation, so sustenation means what? It's not an easy thing. So anything that which exists in the form may it changes in its nature, but it should have a subtraction, means a cause, in order to sustain it. That's what known as you meditate God as an substratum. Now we are in the God. We are because of the God. I am because of the God. If there is no God, nothing can exist in this creation. If something is there, because of the God. Even people, good or bad, they exist because of the God. God has to allow. He should sustain. He should be the substratum for you. Achintya Rupam. He cannot be given any form or name, but the forms and names are for my sake to realize Ishvara. We have to understand that. Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parasthat. He is like a shining, effulgent one, like sun. Okay? Tamasah Parasthat means he doesn't have darkness. There is no darkness in Ishvara's concept. So the Ishvara who is beyond the darkness, darkness means who is beyond the darkness, because Maya is known as darkness, Avidya is known as darkness. That's all. So one who meditates God in these ways, when at the time of death. Now he concludes in the next words. Let us read it. Prayana kale manasa chalena bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva bhruvor madhye pranam aveshya samyak satam param purusham upaiti divyam. Now in your life, my question to you, how many of you have seen the death, means directly when you are available? So people, they had the departure. How many deaths you have seen? And the death of even close people. So one of my a friend who was also sannyasi, he had the departure. We were very much with him. He was talking to me, and he was just narrating what and all is happening. By his narration, the description which he gave, what happens during the death. If you are a healthy person, if you are endowed with awareful living, then you can predict your death. Because the prana which is existing here in the throat called Udana Vayu. Udana Vayu means what? The prana which helps us to have burp, vomiting sense, and even yawning. These are all because of this prana called Udana Vayu. So these Udana Vayu are divided into 5 kinds in our scriptures. One among them is called Dhananjaya Vayu. This Dhananjaya Vayu alone, it takes the spirit away. Spirit, I am using this word. There is no word for Jivaha. Jivaha means the individual consciousness, the soul. The soul is not the word for here, spirit. Okay. So that which takes away means that which helps to the spirit to departure. That Vayu known as Dhananjaya Vayu, it will be activated 40 minutes or 1 hour before, sometimes 2 hours before, they feel something, suddenly energized. You might have seen, even people who are bedridden, they become active. They will talk something, so many things about their life and the beyond their life. So that Dhananjaya Vayu have been activated. Like flights, every flights in ancient time, I don't know now how they are. So they have two engines. So one is to take off, another is to travel. The engine which is used for taking off will be started 40 minutes before the journey begins. In the same way, so that this Dhananjaya Vayu, when it is activated, they will become brisk. They will start speaking lot, and they will start eating lot. Some of them will have, if they would have got proper life, they will become enlightened. Enlightened means so they will get a kind of peaceful tendency. That sannyasi, he was talking, I could feel something here. So some kind of freshness. Suddenly, I could see everything with the mind which is not affected. He is speaking with me, and still I was kept on asking so many questions. So how do you feel? What is going on here in the stomach? He said, so my legs and stomachs, I'm not able to feel, I'm not able to experience them. So just I could experience me well. So I could feel myself weightless, I could feel myself painless. And so finally he wanted to have more food. We gave the food, and he wanted to chant. He was not able to chant that much clearly. Then I chanted for him, though he was kept on talking for 3 hours. Then he wants to sit. We made him sit, and he wants to walk around the room we made, and he was not able to sit in a place, and he kept on, he became very active. Then finally he said that I would like to lie down. So we made him lie down, and he said, I'm getting sleep, like I'm getting sleep. Then he slept. Suddenly he awakened. He said, come near, hold me. Then he was holding my hand. That grip, it went off. That's all. Then I was kept on talking, Swamiji, please let me know, have you separated from the body? Please, I think you are able to listen to me. Give an indication. So you just move this light, or just foo this light. So some indication. Please let me know that you have come out of the body. No answer. Just I was keep on observing, because only I was with him at that time. It was night 1:30. So then I was just thinking about him, sitting there. I was waiting for other people to wake, because midnight I need not to want to disturb the people. I was sitting with him and doing chanting Parayana, and especially second chapter, this Sthita Prajna Lakshana, that I was chanting, and Purusha Sukta. So kept on chanting. By 4:30 I let all other people know that he had a departure. Then we made what to be done. All things have done. So this kind of experience, if you get chance, because this is the mission, so that we sent rockets for a satellite to the moon. So this technology wise, we are very much aware, we have the control. So when you send something to Chandra, now you see recently Chandrayaan, it went, so it's a successful actually. So this kind of achievements we become proud. But the machine which is known as human body, it has so many secrets in it. So that thinking about the death, you should have a proper mind, the mind which is not affected by fear. You just be witness of what goes when people are at the time of the death. You help to the people. We have to help them. We have to help them means what? We have to help them to get sadvritti. Sadvritti means what? Good things. We have to speak with them. If they are Vedantic student, we have to bring all this Vedantic scriptural knowledge. If they are not aware about Vedanta, just ask them to chant, or you chant for them. So this responsibility, so every one of us should take, because we have to learn how to face this departure. So now this learning upasana, this, because the topic which Bhagavan gives here, at the time of death. At the time of death means what? So the thoughts will occupy the thoughts which you lived with. Could you understand what I say? So your priority given to the destination, that destination will occupy your mind, so that mind will get vritti about those destination which is being given priority. Okay, so we will learn a little bit more from the next session, that in the next episode tomorrow. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.